Welcome to this video lecture program on inborn errors of amino acid metabolism. This is Ramakrishnan, Assistant Professor, Department of Biochemistry from St. Joseph's College, Cuddalore. In today's program, I am going to talk about what are inborn errors in amino acid metabolism, what are the causative reason for that, and the normal sign and symptoms to identify, and management of the inborn errors of amino acid metabolism with a suitable example. Inborn errors of amino acid metabolisms are the rare disorders which is occurred in the defect in energy production or the metabolite conversion into the next product. So these disorders are usually caused by the defect in the specific enzymes which helps for the conversion of the metabolism. For example, in a biochemical reaction, A is converted into B and B will be converted into C and final product. So during this process, all these conversions are controlled by enzyme catalyzed reaction called biocatalyst. All the biocatalysts are generated from the segment of DNA called a gene. Naturally, when the gene is perfectly functioning, it will produce the suitable enzymes for the metabolic activities. During the case of inborn errors, these genes are failed to produce the suitable enzymes for conversion of the end product or the product in the metabolism. Therefore, the desired product is not achieved and the intermediate products is converted into a toxic compound and causes various signs and symptoms in the system. So here the biochemical process takes place in the amino acid metabolism, that is degradation of amino acid or synthesis of a bioproduct. So during this process, enzymes are absent, so it leads to an amino acid metabolic disorder. So these disorders occurs rare. For example, 1 in 1 lakh or 1 in 2.5 lakhs, like this. So, and there is no permanent treatment for these disorders. Once in a birth means till the death it will be in the person. So then how shall we manage? The one and only way is to control or manage the signs and symptoms for extending the life. So in the management, so the inborn errors of metabolism has traditionally considered based on the diet therapy and supportive therapy, and similarly removal of the harmful substances which is accumulated in the previous case reaction. Next, and similarly carrying the organ transplantation if it is the case is severe, or if it is suitable, even gene therapy is also possible, but the success rate is very low and economically very high. So among them, the first example what we are going to discuss is albinism. Albinism is a genetic disorder that is caused due to the depigmentation in the skin, hair or eyes. Albinism is also associated with the vision problem. This genetic disorder occurs due to the defect in the enzyme, that is the gene responsible for the production of the enzyme tyrosinase. So in the tyrosine catabolism, phenylalanine is converted into tyrosine, then tyrosine is turned into dihydroxyphenylalanine, then simply called as DOPA. The DOPA is turned to melanin, that is the reason for production of pigmentation in the skin and hair, eyes. So hyperpigmentation will be very dark. So in this catabolic process, the enzyme which is converting DOPA to melanin is absent, so leads to little or no color formation in the skin, hair as well as in eyes. Major signs and symptoms for this albinism is those people who is affected by albinism having an absence of color in the skin, hair, eyes, patches in the skin, that is, they have an absence of colors. Albinism occurs with a vision problem, which includes crossed eyes, photophobia, nystagmus, impaired vision, or even blindness. These are all the common signs and symptoms for albinism. While looking the control measures or a treatment, so there is no permanent cure for inborn errors. So the one and only way is we can manage that. So accordingly, for the case of albinism, there is no permanent cure. Laser eye surgery may be recommended if the case is severe, that is vision impairment. Then surgery of muscle in the eyes, control the eyes, controlling the movement. Then using proper sunglasses to avoid the sunburns, that is sun eye related problems. Then similarly, using sunlight protection sunscreen lotions. These are all the controlling measures in the case of albinism. Using umbrella, preventing to exposure in direct sunlight, that is avoiding to direct sun contact with during summer or in the midday. Second, what we are going to discuss in the metabolism is phenylketonuria. Phenylketonuria is an inherited disorder which is observed due to the increased level of the substance related with the phenylalanine in the blood. Phenylalanine is an aromatic amino acid which is the building blocks of proteins. This compound will act as a entry material for number of biochemical conversions. This essential amino acid is rich in the complete proteins. In phenylalanine conversion process, an important enzyme, phenylalanine hydroxylase, is the dominant one, that is important one for conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. During the case of phenylketonuria, the gene responsible for the synthesis of phenylalanine hydroxylase gets mutated or absent. Therefore, conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine does not take place, and it may lead to the complications in the child, such as mental retardation, behavioral problems, low IQ, skin rashes, musty body odor. So these are all the signs and symptoms for phenylketonuria, and these kinds of child activities are all reduced or controlled by using the proper diet management. So main treatment is no phenylalanine rich diet, but it is very difficult because this comes under complete protein, that is all the complete proteins are all having phenylalanine as the major component, egg, milk, all these things. So the one and only way is to have a formula diet, that means the protein which is free from phenylalanine. Next disorder, alkaptonuria. It is also called as black urine disease. So there are inborn errors of genetic disorders caused due to the defect in the gene homogenetic oxidase. This enzyme is absent in alkaptonuria. Therefore, the metabolite conversion of tyrosine to malonyl acetoacetate does not take place. So therefore, the defective gene has to be treated, but it is much difficult to treat by normal therapy. So because of the absence of this enzyme in the system, homogenetic acid level gets elevated. That character of the homogenetic acid gets oxidized into black color. Therefore, the person or the patient urine turns black after exposure in the oxidation process. So normal sign and symptoms for alkaptonuria is black urine, that is while the fresh flow it will be normal and turns to black after exposure to oxidation, that is in the normal condition. Then achronosis, that is black spot in the ear, nose, nearby the lips, etc. Then joint pain, back pain, then kidney stone. These are all the symptoms for alkaptonuria. Treatment: joint pain will be controlled by taking suitable painkiller, and if the necessity comes, kidney stone will be removed by surgery. But there is no permanent cure for this one also. However, we will control by taking the diet free from the suitable amino acid, tyrosine as well as phenylalanine. So these are all the major two things which will be converted into the mallyl acetoacetate. So since because of the absence, so homogentic acid oxidase, these products has to be avoided, that is tyrosine and phenylalanine rich food. But once again it is also very tough by taking the diet free from phenylalanine and protein. However, gene therapy is also possible, but the percentage of success is also low. The next inborn error what we are going to discuss is maple syrup urine disease, shortly called as MSUD. So since this disease is very first occurred in the family, so the name is called maple syrup urine disease. This disease occurs due to the absence of the enzyme branched chain alpha keto acid dehydrogenase complex, a complex enzyme important for the catabolism of branched chain amino acids. In the neutral amino acid, leucine, isoleucine, valine, these three are all example for branched chain amino acids. These branched chain amino acids undergoes internal oxidation or catabolism and produces acetyl-CoA, acidoacetyl-CoA, succinyl-CoA, like this. When we have the enzyme branched chain alpha keto acid dehydrogenase, this oxidation will be a normal one. During the case of maple syrup urine disease, the BCKD is absent, therefore conversion of the products from leucine, isoleucine and valine does not converted, and the branched chain compounds are elevated in the system, leads to MSUD. When we look at the sign and symptoms, vomiting, a lack of energy or lethargy, developmental delay, avoiding food, that is not having proper appetite. Then urine smells like that maple syrup. Maple syrup is a syrup from that. It is like the sugar in our country. So it is a syrup from a plant, so used in bakery productions. So the smell of the urine is similar to that syrup, so called maple syrup urine disease. So there is no permanent treatment for this disease also. However, the management for this disease controlled by using the protein diet free from the branched chain amino acids such as leucine, isoleucine and valine. However, gene therapy is also possible. Once again, the expected results may be or not, and even highly economic. The last one what we are going to study or discuss in this part is called a Hartnup disease. Hartnup disease is an autosomal recessive disorder resulting in an impaired function of the transport protein in the intestine as well as in kidneys. So in the intestine, it helps for absorption of amino acids, and in the kidney, it is important for the reabsorption. Because of the absence of this transport protein in the Hartnup disease case, there is a depleted level of aromatic amino acid tryptophan in the circulation, and similarly protein metabolic turnover also getting decreased, and the symptoms leads to the metabolic symptoms. When we look at the sign and symptoms for this Hartnup disease, major three things are diarrhea, dementia and dermatitis. Diarrhea, dementia and dermatitis. Diarrhea, continuous loose motion. Dementia, memory loss. Dermatitis, skin problems relating to pellagra. So heart nerve disease is also called as pellagra-like syndrome. This syndrome is also not having any proper treatment at this stage. The one and only way is to control diet management, that is control through the diet management. So persons, they have to take excessive tryptophan diet and then vitamin B complex supplementation, particularly niacin supplementation and protein diet. Yes, these are all the major controlling measure for heart nerve disease. Thank you.